Welcome to an episode of the Bourbon Experience, and we just got done a few weeks ago going on a tour to High Bank Distillery, and we wanted to do a review of that. What we're trying to do after we hit M&O Distillery, which is right here in just south of Columbus, Ohio, we wanted to start going, hey, you know what? Ohio's got some players in the bourbon world, and so
various chops.
And so we decided that we would start doing a little bit of a quarterly bourbon review here in Ohio. And so the next one on our list was High Bank, which is right in downtown, offset downtown Columbus. And so we thought we'd sit down and go over that trip with you guys, because I don't know, if you're an Ohio person or you probably see these on the list or at the store, and it's good stuff. It's really good stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's not a whole lot out there. There's not a whole lot out there about High Bank, and so we thought, well, it'd be time to give them a little bit of a discussion. So, first off, before we get that, what are we sipping on? Let's and we're all sipping on the same thing, but what are we sipping on here?
Well, we're sipping on their honey edition of their double oaked, and this is a nice 100 proof whiskey that is just kind of, I don't know if it's finished off. Is it finished off in honey?
It is not. No. So it's just that's what it. So what I was told is it is basically a barrel pick, and when they sipped on this one, this is what the honey came across on that flavor palette, and then someone did the artwork with it. So they tied the flavor palette of the barrel to an artwork, and they did like 3 or 4 bottles like this. And this one is one of the last 4 or 5 that our tour guide told us about, and I jumped on it, and it is really good.
Yeah,
their double oaked is really good, but this is just a nice, smooth, from the nose to the taste to the finish.
It's a different cut at the product, and it's nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a store pick, if that's a way to look at it. It's a store pick of their double oak.
Yeah, it coats very nicely. It's silky.
It does have a nice mouthfeel, doesn't it?
Boy, it is.
It's nice.
It is insanely delicious. And quite frankly, most of the stuff that I've had there, most of their whiskeys have been falling right into that realm where I will not be disappointed at all if some spills into my glass.
Yeah. This is a nice. Again, you're not going to be able to find this specific one. They're pretty much gone, but you can get their double oak, which you can find anywhere in Ohio.
Next time you're up at my place, you bring this. I'll give you some Oak Father. You give me some more of that.
Oh, deal. Oh man, that's a fair deal.
We can actually do a video on that, you and me, and
we're doing it.
Like, which is better?
I'll be here.
You can be here all you want. I set this up at my place.
Yeah. The Oak Father is another one. It was an OHLQ, so it's another store pick of their double oak, and we absolutely it was one of my favorite whiskeys from last year.
Yeah.
And
top 2 whiskey.
This one happens to be my favorite currently.
Yep.
And I had a little bit of the Oak Father, comparing it to this the other day, and I couldn't tell the differences in taste. Of course, my palate is just right at the top of the line. Unless you've got my tongue, you don't have a tongue.
Yeah, but you love this double oak. Yeah, so
I really do. It's real good stuff.
So, anyways, we just got done with another video where we did touch on our Sack the Syrup, and we took the double oak, and we took the double oak against the which is
we did do that, didn't we?
Yeah, and so that just came out. So we're kind of on a High Bank run here, but they deserve their little
place in the sun.
Place in the sun, if you want to say it that way, because it's good stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the tour first of all. So, what was your first impressions of High Bank Distillery? Like, what came across you first?
I really like the facility. It's very clean.
Yep.
They've got a restaurant, a rick house, and the distillery and bottling operation all in the same building, which I guess is a first in Ohio because the laws are silly here. But to have everything all contained in one spot was really kind of a neat thing. It was an hour and a half wait afterwards, so we didn't stick around to get any food, unfortunately. But it was just nice. It was small because they're still craft distillery, but they're a large-ish kind of craft distillery.
Yeah.
They do everything by hand. There's nothing that is automated at all about their process outside of, I think, running stuff from the fermentation into the distilling tanks and all that stuff. But just really good stuff.
Yeah, I noticed their logo everywhere. Like, so you go in, they're branding everything, which I think is important. I'm a bit of a marketing guy in that aspect, and so when you see Whiskey War all over the place, right? Yep. Then that's kind of I know where I'm at. It's High Bank, and what was your initial thought when we walked in?
My initial thought was it was pretty neat. I was sort of struck with the history part. I guess if you, I wanted to know, why is it called Whiskey War? Okay, because I think of the Prohibition and all that kind of stuff, and that wasn't their focus at all. Their focus was Whiskey War was in Westerville. All happened in Westerville, Ohio. Now, those of you who are really steeped in the history of alcohol in Ohio know all about Westerville.
But you can't buy it, you can't. Well, you can now. You couldn't for a long time.
For a long time.
It's only been, I think, about 10 years since you've been able to buy alcohol in Westerville.
Yeah, Westerville was a prohibited city, if you will, prohibited from any liquor consumption, or distilling or anything.
Purchasing,
anything. Yeah,
nothing.
And that was all a result of a bunch of ladies. It was a women's Christian temperance union, which really had they had their beliefs on that alcohol is not for consumption, and they stuck by it and managed to convince the probably their husbands in the
well, it was that came in the same line. The 18th and 19th Amendments came in relatively close together.
Yeah,
and then we had the Black Days of Prohibition.
Well, and they were very successful in their drumming out alcohol in Westerville. When I went to school at Ohio State, you didn't go anywhere near Westerville because you knew that Westerville was not a place you could get anything.
Yeah. But basically, what we're talking about is the 18th Amendment.
Yeah.
Started in Westerville, and it was because of a whiskey war between and what we learned was because of a bartender or a bar owner.
Right.
Was in basically in battles with the temperance movement is really what it comes down to.
Right. So
is there something on there?
Yeah, there is. So in 1875, so this is still 45 years before the 18th Amendment.
Yeah.
Henry Corbin took a chance and opened a saloon in an area known to strongly oppose the consumption of distilled spirits. Not only once but twice, the saloon was blown up. And it was said before the first explosion, he came outside to address the protesters with 2 pistols drawn.
Say hello to my little friend!
The single act is believed to have ignited the quote-unquote whiskey war of Prohibition and launched the Anti-Saloon League. Unique batches of inside our expertly blended whiskey. Yeah. So, but 2 pistols crossed is their logo.
Is the purpose of it. So the history of it is that's pretty cool, because what they're really paying homage to through this series is the battle with the temperance movement, and that was something that we had learned. Our tour guide, took us in there. She tried to throw us some curveballs on on the capitals of Ohio.
Yeah, but we grew up in the first capital and
First
third
and
capital.
third. Yeah,
because we were movers and shakers.
Yeah.
This is where your middle school social studies comes in, right? Where was the first capital of Ohio?
Chillicothe.
See, how about our second capital?
Zanesville.
Zanesville. How about our third capital?
Chillicothe.
Oh my gosh. Did you study this?
They're from Chillicothe.
Ringers.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
We get in there. Tour guide was Megan. So she was kind of like, "How did you guys know that?" And we're like, "We were fine." And then John spilled the freaking beans. Like, "Well, they're from Chillicothe." I'm like, "You jerk! Just let it play out, man."
John is a big familial wet blanket.
Right? Exactly. Says that with him not here, but that's beside the point.
Well, if he's watching, he'll hear it.
Then he'll be like,
And then he'll make sure he comes back.
He'll take homage about it later.
Right. On again.
So anyway, so
brothers are four.
That's right. so we get in there. We do kind of the part that was not unique was she was kind of like, "Oh, well, we're going to do something really special. We're going to get see the fermentation of it." And it was like, "Yeah, we've been there, done that."
Right.
And that's just because we've been on a lot of tours, so it's not against her in that aspect,
right?
But we've been there, done that. Okay, but I will say this: you walked in there, it was super organized,
very clean,
super clean, and it was like, okay, here's and. I was quite impressed with it, and Whiskey War symbol is on the back.
It's all over the place. They got
which I think we'll have
award banners and just
yeah.
So
we're posting pictures throughout this video just so you get a good idea of it too.
Mostly just to get our faces off the screen, which gives relief to your eyes.
And we thank you for that.
So then after that, we go into the rig house. I'm sorry.
No. Bottling facility.
We went in the bottling facility. My bad. And we go in the bottling facility, and we got to see, them. They're doing all of this by hand.
Yeah.
So they're taking the bottle, which is a really kind of unique bottle. I like the bottles.
Yeah.
We were surprised by this because here we are. These are whiskeys.
Yeah. And we had been calling it bourbons.
Yeah.
We were incorrect. Mostly because this is kind of what you expect watching this channel.
Oh yeah. We do our best.
If you didn't, now you do. But I'm drawing a blank on where exactly, because I always draw blanks when we got the video on record.
Yeah.
Of where exactly it falls out of the bourbon category. I can't remember because it's MGP stuff. They don't have anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Out that's not MGP.
Yes.
They do have barrels that are, I think, 6 years old now.
Yes.
That they're hoping to actually release their first bourbon hopefully sometime later this year. I gave them my number.
Okay, so we left the bottling area, which they do all the bottles up by hand. Mm-hmm. And then the cool part for me, and it was unique. I think this is probably the uniqueness of it. We go from where they do all the makings, and then you go into this room, and you think, oh, we're just going into another room, and it's actually the rig house, and it's this big rig house, and we got the video. We'll put it right here, actually. This is unique.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So this is our barreling room.
So I thought this was kind of neat because this is where we did our tastings. Mm-hmm. It had a little bit less of an aroma than a normal rig house, I think, because of, some of those rig houses that are just old wooden barns to a certain extent.
Yeah, well, I think too. We also March.
Sure, but we get this. We get the aroma like down at Buffalo Trace. We've been down there in February and January, and it's
those also have hundreds of thousands of gallons in there too.
That's true.
This rick house was, It was large in terms of, it might be medium size. I don't know. We haven't been to a whole.
It's a
craft
modern
distillery.
rig house, is what I would call it.
Well, it's modern,
was
but
the-
it's the size of it is, they're stacking the barrels. I think it was 6 or 8 high.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that deep. It was probably about a third of the size of the city rick house that you see at Old Forester if you take a tour there.
Yeah, that
Probably.
one.
I would say.
I would say that too. It's about 1/20th of the size of Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Heaven Hill was
Right,
huge.
jeez.
Yeah, here's Heaven Hills. Like we were just looking up and back. It was like,
Yeah.
I forget what she said. How many barrels
Oh,
they
it
had?
was
in
tens
there.
of thousands of barrels.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was.
And they
it
didn't
was
let us
heaven.
take one home.
I know, right?
It's like, come on.
Bastards.
It's not that we didn't offer.
Yeah, right. So and then that's when we started having some of our sippings. They gave us, we had some of their vodka.
Yeah, the vodka, the gin.
The gin, the vodka, and the vodka's vodka. It's just, it's a.
Well, they actually make their vodka.
That's true. You're right.
With so it's
apple. It was
well,
American.
they include apple juice in the
from Ohio.
That's right.
Yeah, Ohio made apple juice.
I didn't really get a whole lot of apple out. You did. I did not.
I did. There was a hint of it. There wasn't a whole lot, but it was something a little bit different. But it was clean. It was way better than Tito's.
Oh shit.
Well, okay,
But-
anything's better than Tito's.
Yeah, except for tequila.
We're talking about a completely different spirit.
That's not the point. So their vodka I thought was pretty good. I prefer M&O's.
I do too. Yes,
and probably I would say I'd probably prefer Buffalo Traces as well. They're Wheatley.
yeah, that's a tough one. I would take M&O's over the two of them.
I would agree with that.
And Buffalo Trace versus and I'm not a vodka connoisseur. but
that's it.
M&O wins that one, I think, for me.
Yeah. So,
But the gin,
that gin was the best one I've had.
that gin was good.
And I've had a lot of gin.
You're full of crap.
State House is their gin. And we're not, again, gin connoisseurs, but I think I'm going to go get a bottle.
I will probably not, only because I like I like a heavier juniper than is in the State House.
Yeah. So we had the vodka, the gin.
Yeah.
We had their low proof whiskey.
Their low proof whiskey. So I think it was
88. I think it was 88 proof. That was good. It was, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Didn't mind it. And then we had
their barrel proof one.
the barrel proof one, which
Ziggity zang.
which we don't have a bottle of that, but they have a barrel proof, which to be honest with you, I wouldn't put it over either one of these two. Definitely not over this one.
No,
I wouldn't put it over the double oak.
no,
The double
their
oak.
double oak stuff is just supreme.
Yeah.
This
This is a fine bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, it really is. Although we did not have a double oak there, did we? I don't.
No.
Yeah.
The next one that we had was their regular whiskey or their barrel proof whiskey that's mixed with a port wine.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was good.
It was good. It
you-
was unique.
Yeah.
Was it mixed with port wine, or was it just mixed in a
It was
port
a-
wine?
No,
Port
yeah,
wine barrel.
It was
Yeah.
mixed.
Oh, it was. I thought it was in a barrel.
No, it's a blend.
Oh,
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, let me know.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was a blend because it was a lower proof.
Yeah.
I did have the other different version of this one.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Which
But I think I like the honey better than that. I don't remember the name of it.
Sweetie.
Sweetie. That
Yes.
was it. That was it.
Yeah.
We did have some of the Sweetie. Yeah. Here's the thing that was also pretty unique that I really we're gonna try. They had 2 other tours that you can do, and one of them is you can go in there and you can create your own blend of their product, and that's great. And you walk away with a bottle. But what they do is they keep that blend under your name, and so now, 10 years from now, you go, "Hey, High Bank, I'd like to get my blend." And they go, "Come on over," and they make the blend, and there you go. And you can, and so I thought that was really kind of that's
so
unique.
Yeah. It's something that we haven't run across yet.
Not at all.
It's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. Their other one was just a private group tour of the same thing we went through. So
Yeah.
it was the same price. The private blend one is more expensive, but we don't know what that is yet because we have to call them.
I thought she said it was like closer to 100 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit over, but either way, if I'm walking around with a blend that that I get my own special label and all that,
then that's worthwhile.
All new.
I think
experience.
Michter's does something kind of similar to that, but we haven't been to Michter's, in that aspect. And,
True.
And again, that's for someone that's trying to set themselves apart, kind of do their own thing. That's a good play.
Yeah.
That's a good play on High Bank's part there to try to say, hey, we're doing a little something different. We're everything. The whole process is not going to change.
Right.
So what are you doing to set yourself apart? And I think High Bank's doing a really good job there. So
it was a very enjoyable experience, and the other thing too is like outside of like the process of distilling, bottling, going into your rick house, it's all standard stuff, and so that wasn't the unique thing. But what really helps it out, and we've really kind of keyed on this in our trip down to Kentucky this past January, is the tour guide makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Megan over there was an excellent tour guide.
Yeah.
She had a great personality.
Good understanding of the product.
yeah.
Yeah, and and we were joking around with her. We were throwing some slings, and she just rolled with it, and she was just really an enjoyable person to have to give us the experience that we had at High Bank.
Yeah.
And
This is, we've been to a couple of distilleries in Ohio now. I think that Ohio has a game. And I'm going to say this, probably throw a little curveball for everybody out there. The big key thing in Kentucky is, we sit on a shelf of limestone.
it's like the second largest limestone shelf in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's in the shape of Kentucky, and only Kentucky has that limestone. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that limestone shelf probably stems into probably part of Ohio too, and probably down into Tennessee. But they don't want to say that. It's not in the shape of Kentucky. Just as so come on, please.
Blasphemy!
Just give me a break.
Do you want us to get blackballed from bourbon tours down in Kentucky?
I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Well, there goes that material for next year.
Yeah, right. So anyways, I think Ohio has got the point being is Ohio's got a game. It's not Kentucky.
Yep.
Kentucky is the capital of bourbon. That's not taken away from that.
Yeah, and forever will be.
And it forever will, yeah. But Ohio's got some players. And I think that they need to be paid attention
As do a lot of other states, I might add.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uniqueness. Northern California has one of my favorites. Northern California has one of my favorites with Redwood Empire.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma have, but the better juice is from Kentucky.
Not to mention Alaska.
Yeah.
They age it for 15 years.
Yeah, right. So, all right. Well, hey, that was the trip. You got to take it. If you're in Columbus, take an opportunity. Go to High Bank. It's a nice little area. If you can't get dinner there, what you should push. I'd like to get some dinner there sometime. There's a bunch of other restaurants that are right there that it's kind of trendy and nice and fun to be around. So, $10 a tour. It is not that much. So, and it's really worth your time. So, hey, thanks a lot.
It's for all bourbondom.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.